Welcome to another edition of the NAMAE interview webinar. And so today we have as our guest Lekia Thorpe, who's from North Carolina, and she is a board member for the National Association for Me Arts Education. And she is an important person in our latest process that is about equity, inclusion, cultural relevance, and student-centeredness in an effort to consider the standards that we're going to be revising soon and bring those issues into the forefront of that development. And Lekia is part of the advisory panel for that effort, and she was hired along with Mike Uwandi to represent media arts on that panel. And so she's been doing that work, and they worked on a guidance document for the National Coalition for Arts Standards. And she's been working with us to support the teachers as they work on their lessons and revise their lessons as per those guidelines. So very welcome, Lekia. Thanks for being with us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
I just want to ask you if you have had any early encounters with media and media arts that got you interested in digital media.
So when I first started liking, I think it was photography was first. I would always have like those Polaroid camera. My mom had a Polaroid that printed, but that was kind of expensive. So then she would get me the like the Fujifilm disposable cameras, and I would fill those up like so quick. And then my next encounter was MySpace. I don't know if anybody remembers MySpace, but just learning how to code to make my like page like stand out and play music and my name fall down. That's just kind of where it sparked and where I kind of started liking technology to express myself. Um, yeah.
All right. And
Yeah.
so in that work, then you somehow found an interest in education and media arts and education. And how did that happen?
So when I had first went to college was very difficult for me. I had like 2 or 3 jobs most of the time I was in college. And so it was hard for me to do time management and be successful and do all of the things. I started off at Virginia Tech, did not do well there. It's like a huge like classes were like 600 kids and I could not learn like that. That was not how my brain was wired to work. And so then I went to Radford University and I took a digital photography class and a film photography class. And I just knew that whatever I taught, whenever I was going to go do, it was going to be either photography or some kind of reiteration of photography. Um, yeah, so that's kind of when it was like, oh, I like this. I'm gonna do this. But I know all of the media, like, for other than photography, like collage. When I was in my collage classes, all my collages were more digital than like paper and stuff like that. I would do like transparency paper and print things out and or we would have like different clay pieces. I would have it more graphic design kind of vibes than you know, creative, like in a traditional sense, I should say. But yeah, that was like my art journey in college. Took me 7 years to graduate. It was a long time.
And where were you finding resources to inspire you? What were you looking at and discovering?
Um, I don't know, just general life. My upbringing is very, how would I say? It's very different from most. I was normally the only African American in all of my classes. I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me or interact with a lot of people that looked like me outside of my household. My parents did take me to like Battle of the Bands and stuff to get like culture and things like that. And that's where I was like, oh God, like this is like exciting. This is what I want to be, and this is how I want to interact. And even this piece here, we were told to think about a controversial topic, and I did the paper bag theory. And my professor had never heard of the paper bag theory. So, and then she was like, wanting to understand and know what it was like. And so like even like my internal struggles, putting those in my art kind of helped me to process my growth and, kind of motivate myself to get through, get over that hump.
Were you ever able to find artists of color that you could see as role models? Those resources were they presented to you? Did you find any on your own?
No, the only professor that I had was Dr. Bay, and he would expose me to African American artists. But before then, I didn't know anybody. I never saw myself in them. And so he introduced me to Basquiat and Frida Kahlo, even though I'm not Spanish. But I didn't know. Like I didn't know that there were other people that made art that was also great. Um, but yeah, yeah.
Right. And so then you entered into teaching, and did you
Mhm.
tell me about that journey?
So I was hired. I had I had two interviews. My first one was art on a cart. Thank goodness we didn't get that one. It was at a middle school, and then my second interview was at Rocky River High School, and they hired me on the spot. And they told me I would be teaching photography and digital art because it's like an 8A, B-Day scheduling. There I just had a mentor who was he had taught at that point, I want to say like 15 to 20 years. Photography was like his baby. And he just really poured into me and made sure that I understood like the impact that you could have on students. And he was really big on like telling me that the kids are with you more than they're at home. Like which I didn't at that time being a new teacher, you don't understand that kind of relationship that you can have with kids, like seeing them all the time. I just didn't, I don't know, I don't think I grasped how big teaching was. My mom was a teacher, my dad was a teacher, so like I knew what teaching was, but like it's different when you're there and it's your experience and it's your impact. um yeah, Rocky River, I just kind of thrived there. They were very encouraging, very family oriented. They let me be myself, which is more out of the box. Having the kids walk around the campus and take pictures, going on field trips, like they weren't afraid to let me do what I thought was best. And I think that's kind of rare as like a new beginning teacher. It's like, oh, can I trust you? Can I, they're trying to fill you out. But there they just understood like what I wanted to do and just let me do it. Yeah.
Wonderful. And so that was in what years then, as we're seeing on the slide
Oh,
there?
2017 to 2018. Yeah,
Okay.
that was my first year teaching. They gave me beginning teacher of the year that year. And then the next year I was presenting to beginning teachers and helping them to, understand the impact, just like Mr. Vincent had told me, and just trying new strategies and trying to help them understand the different ways of learning, through games, through competitiveness, through experience, rather than sit and get paperwork kind of approach. And then I got teacher of the year, and year three was when we wove it into media arts. Um, a lot of teachers in our district were not happy about that. I was so happy about that because I knew what it could be versus like having them being so separate is very limiting. When you combine, photography, graphic design, digital art together, that's when media arts happens. That's where we are. And I think that has a more useful just useful thing in our environment right now.
That term was familiar to you? I mean, who used that term media art at that point?
So Justin Pierce is another mentor of mine. He had said like, "Oh, media arts this, media arts that." I was like, "What is media arts?" Like, I understood it, but I didn't know what it was like. So he had his class. They were presenting at the Mint Museum, and he was using an app called HP Reveal. And on HP Reveal, you would have the student's artwork printed out, but you would scan a QR code, and on your phone, the student's artwork would come to life. But in real life, it was not moving. And so that was when I really understood what media arts could be and how you could use technology to expand the expand our world. It
Mm.
wasn't just it's not just a tool, it's like a way of expression. Yeah.
Yeah, a way of exploration that's sort of
Mhm.
student led, right?
Yeah.
They're exploring their world through these
Yeah.
tools, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing that, I look at this chart and every year you've made some new progress towards being a leader or done something in a leadership mode. So you're sort of a natural leader.
Yeah, I try.
It-
Yeah, I try to, it's good to challenge yourself because sometimes you'll surprise yourself. Sometimes you're capable of more than the box you're like putting yourself in, like, oh, I can't do that. Yes, you can. You can absolutely do it. Like when we met at nationals, I was like, I probably could never present here. Justin was like, apply. And we got in. So it's just having the right people around you that support you and pushing yourself to be innovative in media arts because it media arts changes every day. Especially with AI and different things like that. Media arts is changing. So how are you going to change with it? Are you going to be stagnant and still? Or are you going to and literally fight against the technologies that's, pushing us ahead? You have to literally embrace it.
Has your district been very supportive and you've had leadership roles there promoting
Mhm.
media arts, right? And how is
Yeah.
it going?
So this year we had a budget cut, which kind of set us back. Normally they pay for our NCA anytime we present. So NAEA, NCEA, if I was going to do something with NAMAE, they would present. But this year they cut our budgets. And so that's been the first time that I haven't felt like supported or like, oh gosh, because that's falling back on me reaching out to other people trying to get them to help and things like that, but normally they are very encouraging. I don't know what happened with funding this year, but normally they're like, wow, like go do it, go do this, go do that. So this is the first year I felt kind of like limitations, I would say.
Mhm. And do you feel media arts can grow within your district and that is work that you could pursue?
Yes, I do think it can. So we have it's called the CMS Foundation, and they pick one school and they one school per year, and they upgrade them, give them, the iMac lab and the 6 new cameras. And so like I think that that's a way to help like grant writing and things like that. But also like whenever they have like the superintendent's gallery, I always make sure that the media arts is there because that's who's seeing the work. The people that are in charge, the people that have the ability to adjust the budget. And so just letting them know, even like when I'm going to the NAEA, blasting it on social media, letting them know like, hey, our district is innovative and we do need support. Yeah.
Also, are you aware of the Arts Education Alliance, national level, and the guidance letter that just came out saying that Title One, Two, Four, these monies are now available to arts teachers across the disciplines.
No,
So
I didn't.
that'd be another source of funding that you can now look at.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
So just for everyone to become more aware of that, and I'm sure
Mhm.
that you'll sort of take a lead role there in helping teachers to sort of know about the money and how to
Yeah.
access it. So there
Yeah.
you go.
Great.
In terms of
Thank you.
your teaching and working with students, what kinds of things are you emphasizing?
So with media arts, I believe in a bunch of things, but I really feel like it helps students with critical thinking. Like when they first come to me, it's a big challenge for them to remember to turn their right click on the iMac every day because it resets overnight. Clicking and dragging is like, click, drag, hold. Like short keys, command shift, like these are skills that everyone assumes that they have. Unless you're a media arts teacher, CTE teacher, and you see it up close how much they struggle with learning these things. And these are things that they're going to need in their life. Like technology is not going to go away. You have to know how to work it. And so even if they don't want to be an artist, you still want to have a job, you want to be successful, you want to run your own company, you need to know how to work these programs. And so that's like the biggest key thing is just for them to understand how to work technology and not be afraid of it, have the confidence to be willing to learn it and not be frustrated or feel deflated if it doesn't work. There's times, I'm sure you feel the same. You've lost your work. You've had to restart. But the thing of it is, you didn't give up. You didn't stop trying. You didn't let technology defeat you. And so those are the things that I really want them to understand, like in my classroom with media arts. And of course, like digital literacy. Because with our media arts, like, and even Photoshop, it has its own language. What does rasterize mean? Like these are new terms to them. And so just learning that language and like even if they don't know the language, experimenting with it until they do understand. And of course, just the responsibility of using a computer wisely and realizing that everything doesn't disappear. Some stuff is up there for life. Your digital footprint is important. Those are the biggest things for me, I think.
Mhm. What about creativity? And I see
Mhm.
you're very creative.
Thank you.
And how do you get students to be creative, and how do you know they're being creative?
That's like I'm still learning. Is that okay to say I'm still learning how to do that?
Yes, we're all
Yeah.
still learning, I think, that one.
Yeah, it's hard for them to view it as a creative medium sometimes.
Mm,
Um, and like find that this is the first year where they've like taken a photo of themselves and manipulated that first, like putting that into the computer. And I think that that's helped them to grasp and have a personal connection with the computer and with the camera at the same time, just trying to use it as a medium like paint, like pencil, things like that. That is it's a hard like bridge to build, but it can be built. And I think one of the benefits of media arts is that it's flexible. It's like if you mess up, there's an undo button sometimes. Whereas painting, you don't have drawing, you have eraser sometimes, but sometimes things are permanent. And like having different variations, like, okay, you did it this way, try another way, try this way, and save it as a different name. Those are some ways that I've found that students are willing to learn and willing to see it as a creative medium and try again and fail, try again, or I like it this better this way, experiment a little bit more.
mhm. Great.
Yeah.
Um, and then we get into, say, issues of diversity and inclusion, and
Oh yeah.
how do you bring identity into this?
So the first thing that I start off with is like having a welcoming space. I'm really big on I want everybody to be here. Even if you don't have some kids don't have my class, they just come in here like, hey, how you doing today? Just like having a space where they feel safe, wanted, um, heard, seen. I think that that is like the foundation for like building a relationship, getting them to complete projects. You have to have it set up to where they want to be here. Like step one, I want to be here. Okay. Step two, what are we going to learn? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that that's the biggest thing. And the kids that come to me to even, talk or chit chat, they probably don't feel welcome somewhere else, or they probably need that. They need that kind of, hey, how you doing? High five today and gone. And so those are just some of the ways that I kind of deal with just including everybody, and making sure that I am being aware of how I come off to people, any biases that I may hold, I'm erasing them, changing them, acknowledging them, moving past them, things like that. Um, yeah.
And so, in this work, you all examine these issues in a very critical way as that
Hmm.
group, right? In the advisory. And
Hmm.
so, how did you start to think about these, talk about these, and yeah, just start talking about that process and what people were saying and what they were
Yeah.
learning.
That process, like sometimes when you go into things, you believe that I have a holistic view. I know how I feel about certain things, and that's kind of it. Like, I'm always in the mood to grow, but I'm like, oh well, we need to grow this way. That group changed my whole perspective. Like, learning everyone's voice, hearing everyone's voice, and learning how they feel about even certain words that we were using that I wouldn't necessarily feel offensive, or the next person might need to not feel offensive, but it was. And so just examining everybody's walk of excuse me, walk of life, or way that they feel about something, it's so important. And I had so many, like, I wouldn't say difficult conversations, because everybody there was open to change and open to moving forward, but conversations that I felt that I would never have if I wasn't a part of that. Like, that's something that I don't know, I really cherish it and I value it. And it makes me just think about how much more I can grow. Like, I think I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm growing in this." No, no, no. There's always more room to grow and understand with other people.
All right. And
Yeah.
so, what do those words mean to you now, accessibility and inclusion?
Mm. So I had a school change, and before it was like 49 Black and Hispanic. We fought over like getting the right equipment for them and getting them seen and things like that. Now I'm at a school to where I have kids that don't speak English. Like 1 year here, 10 days here. And so they need a different kind of equity and accessibility from me to learn the content. Like, and that's why that language part is so important. Even though with media arts, we have some flexibility and things with using images and, computers and things like that. But if if they can't understand the basic words that I'm saying, then how can I expect them to learn? And so being here has really changed like accessibility to me, because if you have someone who doesn't speak your language, who doesn't speak your language, is illiterate in their language, how do you get them to learn? That is like my biggest like challenge, and a part that I'm working on now is just communicating with them and trying to get them to, get the ball rolling and things like that. But this is something that I feel that I had to experience to understand the importance of it, and how even the education system is not accessible to everybody. Like, and in some instances, like with the English, there's no maneuvering for them. It's like English or nothing. And so just trying to understand what the work that needs to be done in that part, just to make sure that it's accessible to them. Yeah, it's still a lot to be done. Sorry, that was a long one, a little
No,
long-winded.
I don't know. As a group, and you're
Yeah,
working with the advisory panel, right?
yeah.
Were there certain aspects that were kind of difficult for the whole group to think about and include? And maybe you kept remembering, oh, yeah, we got to think about this.
Hmm.
Did that come up at all? Any kind of challenges in terms
Yeah,
of
the
thinking
biggest
about that
challenge.
inclusion?
Yeah, the biggest challenge was thinking about all the different, like ableism, thinking about all of the different disabilities and how to include them in the verbiage. That was the biggest, we're talking about someone who has limited eyesight. Well, the standard says see. Okay, well, we can't use that. We have to pivot. And so just thinking about all of the possibilities to where we're wording it so that someone who might be not impaired or not see as well can still meet the standard.
Mhm.
Um, that was that was one of the biggest challenges, I feel like. Just trying to make sure that everybody was included, no matter race, religion, disability, those things, just thinking about the whole holistic viewpoint of things that we don't want to, affect these standards or, come off the wrong way was very, well, it was tough, but it was just, I don't want to say it was hard to make sure that we weren't leaving anyone out
Mm.
part, but like the conversations were fine. But it's just hard to make sure that we were including everybody.
Right.
Um, yeah, that was our goal.
Do you think the arts in general have something special to give to this area and to sort of lead and show an example?
I do. I think that more than any content, art is able to be the vessel for someone, especially like those students that may struggle in those core classes or may not, be aware of certain things going on. I feel that art has a different way to connect with students, and it allows the teachers to connect with students in a different way, more of a lifelong way than just you're in here for the semester. Just building those lifelong skill sets and making sure that, they feel that they are included and that they learn something that they can take with them on the next part of their journey.
Mhm. And can you provide any specific examples of tricks, techniques, ideas that people, teachers can think about within media arts when they are trying to use these approaches in their classroom?
I would say when planning, just making sure that you're working backwards. I feel that working backwards helps you to find any holes or find any um things that you might be missing. Like think about the end goal of not only of the product, if it's a product based thing, but what you want it to be, what you want it to look like, as a whole, and then just going back and then making sure you're remembering about your high school experience, things that you lacked, things that you wanted more of, things that you thought would have been beneficial to you as an adult. Those are things that you want to expose your kids to. You have, with media arts, you have this wider range that you can include and you can use. And so if you feel that your life, my life would have been better if I had this, why not do it for your kids? Why not go ahead and take the initiative to help them with that skill? Those are just things that I try to do. Like, as a teacher, just making sure that, oh, like, I wish my teacher would have done this. And it's not that they were a bad teacher. It's just that I would have liked to feel this kind of, in school.
I'm curious if you have some thoughts about media arts in general as it tries to move forward, advance in your state, in your country,
Mhm,
anything in that regard, to
mhm,
encourage the growth and the development, and
mhm.
any ideas you have for how it could advance.
Yeah, here's some like students that I have that took those skills and went.
Mhm.
But for media arts, I just feel that our next thing is just to make sure that we're like collaborating with like in a cross-curricular way, because I feel that a lot of people use media arts or create media arts to use in their class. And sometimes it might not be the way that we would do it as the artist and as the expert, things like that. But just making sure that we are promoting media arts and making sure that that name media art, this is media arts, is getting across there, because I feel like our name does not stick with some of the things that we do. And so I really just want that to be known. And I really feel that we need to be embracing like AR, VR, bringing art into space, because I feel like that's going to be the next big thing. Um, Lastly is the collegiate programs. I would like to see more. I want to go to college and major in media arts. I don't want to go across the country. I want it to be something in, like I want it to be more of a localized thing. And I feel like a lot of colleges have graphic design or you can major in photography, but I feel that if we had that whole media arts kind of title package, we would get, even looking at the teaching standard, we would get a higher, collection of candidates into media arts. And then students who want to major in media arts and like, videography, illustration, you like the whole thing, why not do the whole thing? Why does it have to be so limited? I can only do graphic design. I don't think that that's beneficial to our program, and I don't think it's beneficial to the student in the long run.
Yeah, I think I see that, and that media arts provides us extraordinary ability to have a variety of media one can work across. It's like
Yeah.
fluency across media, right? And
Mhm.
makes it more exciting, but also those like, different areas like support each other, complement
Mhm.
each other. And the more you learn through those different ones, the more you can do with it, right?
Yes. Yes. It's
Yeah, that's
interdisciplinary.
for sure. Um, I didn't want to skip over. Did you want to
Oh,
look at your show off your students there and
oh yeah.
or anything you want to talk about here in the end? It's fine.
Oh yeah, this was our most recent project, the one I was talking about. The first one we did, it was called Art and Me, and students, pose on the background and cut themselves out, and kind of we studied an artist named Ola Maybe on Instagram, and he like does the cutout thing, but he illustrates on top of it. So we did like an emulation, and then students kind of took that and put it onto Adobe Aero, and then they made like an augmented reality experience that you see here. And then they added like a song, and then this is a football player. A-Town. And he's got his little number rolling. So just having fun. So just having fun and making sure that they're able to express. And I don't know, like AR is normally something I do like at the end of intermediate. But this year I just wanted to be bold and try it. And so I really liked the results that the students had, and I think they had fun doing it. And it was a great way to meet each other.
That's great.
Yeah, it was cool. And I think that's the end.
What about oh, okay. So yeah, artificial intelligence for sure. Let us know what you think about it.
So I believe in embracing AI. I just view it as a tool to amplify us and what we can do. So this project here was students just went to the library, picked up one of their favorite books, and then we used AI to turn the book into their favorite library. I mean, the library into their favorite book. It was very fun. It was something that it took like, 2 days or something like that, but it was something that they really enjoyed. And just the librarian printed them out and hung them up too. So it's something that, us collaborating on, that was fun. And
So they took a picture of the library and then used elements from the book to decorate the library. Is that what?
yeah,
Or
yeah, yes, exactly. Just
great.
turning, yeah, just turning the library. And they, found the book and held, some of them held the real book. Some of them had to Photoshop it. Um, but yeah, they had a blast. And we just used the generative fill on Photoshop to do
Mhm.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for you, AI is a great tool for sort of expanding the practice and
Mhm.
generating more creativity for students,
Yes.
more things that you can do with it.
Right. And then this one right here is they use Dawn Gens. And Dawn is like you put your selfies in there and it generates what you want to see. But we used it to discover like what I asked them what they want to be when they grow up. And so I'll play this for you. Hey, what's this?
Oh, great. That's cool.
So just
What?
to see like,
Oh,
themselves, like what do I want to be? What do I think what would I look like doing? What will fulfill me? And that sparked a lot of different conversations. Like, because two or three of them, their families own businesses, and they were like, do I want to take over the family business? So it was cool. Very cool.
awesome.
Yeah, I think that's all, I think.
Let us know any final thoughts you have.
Yeah, I just want people to, well, I want media arts teachers to integrate with other core subjects. I feel like, I know it's going to be a lot of work, but I feel that that would help to stabilize us as a unit. And people will recognize the importance that media arts has to, students' achievement. Right now, I'm working with Mr. Beagle. He's a sociology teacher, and in Adobe AR, we're building like a brain, and the students will use that to learn about parts of the brain. And so, just changing the way that students are getting information through media arts is
Mm.
something that I'm really passionate about. And I feel like that's going to be our next avenue, really.
Media
Just
arts can make that core content come alive, huh?
Yeah, there you go. Very much so.
And it's something they can play with and they can
Mhm.
decorate and make colorful and animated. And
Yeah.
I think that is an area we need to grow in and develop more. So, yeah,
Yes.
we have a lot to offer to education in total.
Yeah, and a lot of so the doctors and nurses and things like that, that's what they're doing. They're learning on like augmented reality and VR, the headsets rather than a real body or anything like that. So,
Right. And
and that
people
is
forget
media art.
that those are artistic mediums. They're not
Yes.
just technology.
Yes.
It takes aesthetics, it takes color, it takes design, all those things. Yeah, more
Yes.
artistic design oriented. So
Yeah.
we need to claim our territory in that way.
We really do. I'm ready for the next steps.
Great. Thank you. This is wonderful.
Yes,
Well, it's
thank you
really
very much.
great to interview you, Lekia. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and letting us know what you think and where you've come from and where you're going. So
Yes.
awesome.
Thank
Really
you so
appreciate it.
much.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Oops. Uh, Forgot. I'm just
Oh.
stopping the recording.